Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is February 8th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You see BC, Washington, Oregon here. If you look closely, you can see yesterday's low pressure system interacted with the Pacific Northwest, bringing mountain snow, valley rain, and some thunderstorms to western BC, western Washington. Take a look out over the Pacific Ocean, fairly deep low pressure system here. It's going to move towards Pacific Northwest, but it will be weakening by the time it gets here on in through later this week. Then we're going to deal with the pattern change as we go on in through early next week. We'll take a look at those details here in a moment. Current hazards are about to expire here across the Cascades, but just have a heads up for some additional winter driving condition possibilities across Stevens, Snoqualmie, and White Pass through the day today. These winter weather advisories will hang on a bit longer across Idaho and Montana as well today. Now, if we look here, put this into motion, here comes the next system. You can see it impacting mainly BC here and bringing some nice snowfall amounts up there. It really doesn't impact Washington too much, but then the remnants of this system will move across the Pacific Northwest here and include Washington, Oregon, Cascades with some snowfall, but you can see it falls apart quite rapidly, not bringing much here to the Rocky Mountains of Idaho and Montana with this round of weather anyway. But then we'll look off into the extended a little bit more here, and you can see that northwest flow start to arrive here in the Pacific Northwest. This is the setup here for prolific snowmaking here across the higher terrain. You bring that cold air and that northwesterly flow over the moist Pacific, really grabs a lot of moisture there, get deposited over the mountains in huge amounts here. And this could even flirt with some lowland snow here across some of the lower elevations here if things line up just right. We'll look at those details a little bit more today, and we'll look at those in the upcoming days as we get closer to this event coming up. This is yesterday afternoon's European run. Put this into motion. Bit of a break there. Here comes the next system as it's falling apart as we go on in through Friday and Saturday here. Then we get the ridge building here, and then it retrogrades back towards the Aleutians. And look at this polar lobe move down over the area. Nice cold air shot. Big prolific snowmaker for the higher terrain there. Can't rule out some snowflakes down to the surface here with this kind of a setup here, but we'll watch this again over the next couple of days. This is the total snow Kuchera through the 10-day period here. You can see the big amounts coming for the higher terrain here and maybe flirting a little bit with some of the lower elevations here. Now look in here. This is all the way out towards the early portions of the next week. This will be Monday afternoon. You can see this very cold polar lobe moving down over the area, and that coincides with this potential for some snow showers down to the surface here. But this is really the perfect setup for big mountain snows across the Pacific Northwest here with that northwesterly flow and this very cold air aloft just slamming into the mountains, picking up some moisture off the Pacific Ocean and depositing it right into our higher terrain here. Now, taking a look here, this is a cumulative positive snow depth change. So this is basically what we will add to the snowpack over the next 10 days here, up over 2 feet for some areas, but you can see this will be much needed. We've fallen below average a little bit here with a kind of a dry January there, but we should be replenishing this through the next 10-day period there. Now looking here, we've got, if I can get that to drop off, there we go. Okay, so you're looking at SeaTac here, and you can see the chillier overnight lows coming on in through early and mid next week, kind of the signal for that colder air arriving there. Boise, a little bit of a signal there as well, but we were already pretty chilly as it is as we were going through this week. So on into next week, going to be a little bit colder though across much of the Pacific Northwest. So here's Seattle, Tacoma. Some of these ensembles picking up on a little bit of snowfall here as we go on in through next Tuesday about. We'll continue to watch this system as it goes through. Things have to line up just right. It's going to be a hit and miss scenario here across the Pacific Northwest as to who gets what into the lower elevations. This is Snoqualmie Pass. You can see plenty of chances here with snow coming up here through the 10-day period here. These are 24-hour totals here, 10-to-1 snow ratio shown. This is Stevens Pass, very similar picture here painted. This is Crater Lake, snowfall possible all the way down through the Cascades of Oregon towards California, and for the Sierra Nevada included as well. This is for Boise. You can see a couple rounds of snow possible with this colder air arrival here as we go on in through next week and the following week shown here. This is Elk City, Idaho, a higher terrain there, elevation 3,500 feet, and you can see a couple of nice rounds of snowfall coming up all the way out through there as well. Now this is taking a look at the GFS here. Let's look at this, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. This is hot off the press. The 12Z run. There goes the system moving through later this week there. And then we pivot this high pressure back over the Aleutians here and we drop down this polar lobe across Pacific Northwest. And there's our cold air shot shown there. Good model agreement. This is on the way. Very high confidence that this cold air shot is on the way. So big mountain snows have high confidence right now. Of course, lowland snow for any given location is going to be much lower confidence at this point. We'll continue to work out those details for the next few days. Now look at this. You got considerable avalanche danger. There is still some high across some of the Cascades here as well. So heads up if you're going off into the backcountry here. And this is going to continue to be a threat here as we go through the 10-day period with all that snow that's going to be incoming. This is the 6 to 10-day temperature outlook through February 17th. Much of the West included here, 8 to 14 day, and much of the West again through February 21st is included there. So anyway, yeah, we got some interesting cold air. A polar lobe is going to visit us here most likely on in through next week. It'll be fun to try to work out the details here. Maybe we'll get some convergence zone activity, maybe a couple thunderstorms. Who knows? Maybe we'll pick up an inch or so at SeaTac or something like that on in through next week. But it looks like a really good bet for some really heavy mountain snows coming up here with this system as we go on in through early next week. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Have a good day. We will do this again tomorrow. We'll break down some more of these details, and I will talk to you guys then.